Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and comment on the videos. I hope you enjoy the show. Now, let's go. Hello, Billy Ho here. Week 4 DraftKings, another positional show. We're going to do wide receivers for the main Sunday slate, 12 games, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. All right. Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you as always. Shout out to the Discord, Billy Ho's Flop House, always getting her done. And appreciate all their support as well. If you have subscribed to the channel, much appreciated. I tell you, it means the world. If you have not, all you got to do is click that red subscribe button and won't cost you a dime, but it does have some value to me. So thank you as always. Now, we're going to look at some wide receivers on the main slate, like I said. First London game of the year, so check your lineups for the Vikings Saints, 9:30 Eastern Time Sunday. And be sure to stick around. I got a couple of down low priced wide receivers toward the bottom of the list that I think will go overlooked, and you will need to save salary. So stick around, and I'll clue you in on that. And as always, you always want to look at game totals and whatnot. But this week, more important than game totals, game stacks, and anything is weather. Say it out loud with me. Check the weather, you guys. East Coast home teams. We got Carolina, which I'm a little bit less worried about. I think the storm's going to clear them. And we're talking Hurricane Ian remnants and just general East Coast storm rain anyway. But along with this East Coast, and I will show you some weather, along with the East Coast rain and wind is gusty that I noticed. So you got several Northeast home games that are outdoors that are going to be affected by this weather. So pay attention. And you know what? Let's take a look. All right. Now, this is New York, close as I could get to the stadium. And you can see that the wind is pretty steady, and there is rain in the forecast. So be on the lookout for that. But what I'm concerned with is this 16 to 17 mile an hour, 18 sustained wind with 40 mile an hour gusts. That's definitely going to affect some passing plays and some kicking and all that good stuff too. So there's your New York game. Here is your Philly game with two important teams on it, with the Eagles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. As you can see, Friday, Saturday into Sunday. And there is some afternoon rain in the forecast. And it's a similar situation, 16 to 20 mile an hour sustained and the 40 mile an hour gusts. And also, this is, I believe, Baltimore. And similar situation, going to be rain and down at 16 to 15 to 16 mile an hour sustained and mid 30s for the gusts. So there you go. And that so keep an eye on that kind of weather. The wind is more detrimental than the rain is. So, but they don't look like they would be delay of game like storms, thunder, lightning kind of thing. But who knows? So keep an eye on that. And we'll get into the wideouts now. Make this a little bigger. Not that big. All right. So, of course, Stephon Diggs leads us off at 8,400. I just mentioned that Baltimore game is going to have weather impacted. So keep an eye out. They're expecting rain for several days leading up to Sunday and Sunday. So uh, that kind of makes me want to lean elsewhere. Although the arm of Josh Allen can cut through some wind, so don't get it twisted. So if Stephon Diggs' ownership plummets because everybody's scared of this weather, then that's probably the time to get on him. So we'll keep an eye on that. Devontae Adams is a fair price, 8,300, but I'm unsure what to expect from him. The Denver secondary, I've mentioned before, is very tough. Patrick Surtain has been known to shadow, so he may just follow Devontae Adams around, and he is one dude in the league that I think can keep up with Adams pretty good. You can see they're first in opponents in the rank on defensive for wide receivers. So that's no joke. So I will keep an eye on that one. Now Adams, it's not like he can't beat most cornerbacks, but he hasn't produced since week 1, so that's also concerning. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7,700, would be a great play. He's still nursing that ankle he hurt last Sunday, and it looks like it's a little bit more of an issue than was let on. I didn't see if he's practicing today, but he did not practice yesterday. So if he gets in at least some limited work today and tomorrow, I feel pretty good about him playing. But then again, you never know with an ankle if it gets sore or if he steps on somebody in the game, anything can happen. So AJ Brown, 7,400 with the rain and the wind, 40-mile-an-hour gusts expected Sunday in Philly. I may have to reevaluate playing that guy and most of the ones on the East Coast. So I think weather will have a big topic of much discussion this weekend, and of course on all the Sunday tout shows in the morning. So there could be people just panicking and pivoting everywhere. So uh, maybe there might be a guy or two that you can hold fast on and get good ownership discount. So keep that in mind. Now we're getting into some guys that are in some safe spaces, domes and whatnot. Michael Pittman, 7,200, hosting Tennessee. I think there will be some scoring. I think he's very safe. 1v1 stack him and Derrick Henry or him and Burks or something like that. I don't know if I'm going to go with either quarterback in this game. Definitely not Tannehill. And Ryan is still a guy that you're going to need 302 touchdowns from to pay off. So that's a tough call. But Pittman alone can catch you 8 for 100, and then you're fine. And then maybe he gets into the end zone. And then Taylor gets it done too. You can do that old school running back wide receiver stack without the quarterback and go Taylor Pittman. Who knows? That's not the worst idea in the world. It worked for Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson several times last year. So keep that in mind. Mike Williams is another solid play in the dome at Houston. He's a good run back guy. He's a guy you can pair with a 1v1 Brandon Cooks. I don't mind him at all. Monitor the Keenan Allen situation. He did have a crap game, but that you almost got to toss that game with Herbert hobbled, and he probably could have used that extra week off. So I don't know if he's still going to be favoring that rib. I mean, that shit just don't heal up in a week and a half. So be mindful of that. I kind of like Eckler in that game if they'd actually just give him the damn ball instead of but 8 catches out of the backfield sounds pretty good. Anyway, these next several guys, Marquise Brown, DK Metcalf, CD Lamb down to Gabe Davis. I don't know. I might have some interest in Lamb, but his ownership might creep up with the game Monday night. But he does get the Monday night discount where where the pricing was already out, and he catches 8 for 87 and a touchdown. So that's pretty cool. I don't mind Lamb. If you wanted to, like I mentioned, some Carson Wentz, and I know it sounds gross, but if you pair like say Wentz and Samuels and McLaurin or Dotson or one of those guys, Logan Thomas, double stack and then run it back with CD Lamb, that's probably going to be a fairly unique game stack. I don't think people are going to go there. They're definitely not going there with Wentz. So keep that in mind. Now, DK Metcalf, I had him in my season long, and he did get the decent game here, the 12 targets, but he only caught 5 of them. That is just not efficient. I don't know if it's his route running or Geno Smith and them just not being on the same page. But they might be throwing a lot in this game, depending on if Detroit's hobbled or not. We have to know the injury report with Detroit, with Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift. And I think maybe there's a couple other guys that are a little bit dinged up too. So that's going to matter. But as far as the game goes, I think Metcalf gets they have a, and forgive me guys, I don't forget I can't remember the guy's name for Detroit, but he's a high draft pick and he has been doing a great job on some wide receivers this year for the Detroit secondary. I think he gets Metcalf this week. So I'm a little hesitant to play Metcalf. Now, if he rolls off of him, Metcalf could blow in this game, but I don't know. But down to Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is still nursing an ankle, but he was present for Friday's practice. And just real quick, see if this says anything about him on. Okay. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, you heard it here. Amon-Ra St. Brown is ruled out for Sunday's game against the Seahawks. So they have done it. Out. So that's big. That's huge deal. That brings in DJ Chark. And that brings in Reynolds. And it also brings in, I didn't want to get into this, but if they announced him, probably out. So we'll say he's out. So let's just say DeAndre Swift and ASB are both out. So now you're going to have to reconfigure what you're going to do. And I think obviously the free square chalk of all chalks this week is going to be Jamal Williams at home versus Seattle. Weak run defense. You just saw Cordell Patterson run all over him, Jamal Williams. So I would venture to guess I might just mini stack this game, and I'll get to the guy in just a second. But there's guys like Christian Kirk who's going to be dealing with weather. And but then again, you have Terry McLaurin down here as well, 6,500. And that's a home game, and that's part of the Wentz stack I just mentioned. So Keenan Allen is still questionable. He did limited Thursday, so that's pretty good. He might play this week, actually. Cortland Sutton, I'm high on. Amari Cooper, I'm really high on. Both these guys in domes and both getting a ton of targets. Really looking good. Drake London's the same thing. He leads his team in targets, playing at home against Cleveland. So I don't mind playing just like a little 1v1 mini stack, Amari on one side and Drake London on the other. They're probably going to throw enough in this game to cover that. Now, I wonder if anyone noticed that Tyler Lockett at 5,900 has gotten 22 targets in his last 2 games. Coming into this dome, he could be that guy this week. So he's putting up some good numbers. So I am going to be on some Tyler Lockett, and you just might start teams, and just to get you a piece of this game, there you go. Nice and cheap. Got a good piece on each side. Or you can flip the script and go the other way. And then you could get somebody like Reynolds or DJ Chark down here. and then you run Penny on the other side at 4,900. So this is going to be a really fun game because you're not spending a ton of salary, and they're still looking at a pushing a 50-point total. It's probably going to go down now that both those guys are ruled out. So we'll see what Goff can do without his number one stunner. Now moving down the line here, another one of my favorite plays this week is Brandon Cooks at home, back in the dome, and he had a rough outing in his last two at Denver with we already discussed how good their secondary is, and Chicago, who's pretty good defense all around, but they also had windy conditions in that game. And Davis Mills, the arm strength ain't there to throw in that kind of weather. That's results of 2 catches out of 7 targets for only 22 yards. He's going to be back indoors. I think he's really going to bounce back this week. So I feel good about him. I'm down on Devontae Smith with the weather concerns. Otherwise, he was going to be really, really highly. He might still be highly owned. So that's probably going to be a good pivot. Curtis Samuel is in the same boat in that Washington stack, still getting a ton of targets. They were garbage against Philadelphia, and he still got 7 catches, 48 yards. So he's got a real safe floor. I'm definitely going to have some stacking going on in this Washington-Dallas game. Absolutely. And Jerry Jeudy, I'm starting to lean. I thought Jeudy would be more successful, especially after week 1, but he did get hurt, and his shoulders and ribs has limited him, I think, the last week or two. But maybe he's a little healthier and a little better. That I did talk about the rush stack in the quarterbacks video. So he's in play. And, you got Pittsburgh. I don't know. Jameson Williams still out. DJ Moore, I don't know what the weather will look like, but he's not producing much. I'm not big on I've never been big on Baker Mayfield. Shepard on IR now, but I don't like this Giants game with the wind and everything bad. That is going to field goal kicking is going to suck ass. I am actually glad that I left Evan McPherson in the game instead of going Graham Gano, because I thought, damn, Graham Gano has been kicking the hellified field goals in season long. But if it's going to be gusty like that, he may have trouble Sunday. So I'll take my 11 points. McPherson got me and go on home with that. So down here, we are going to probably see Michael Gallup back, practice in full. He could be interesting. I don't know what to think. Are they going to limit his snaps? Are they going to just cut him loose? Because they have streamed him along, missing the first 3 games of the season. Maybe they waited till he was fully 100, and they're just going to cut him loose. I don't know. But if Keenan Allen plays, I've lost interest in Palmer. But if he's out, Palmer's definitely in play. And that at only 5K. No Mooney for me. Dortch, no thanks. Questionable anyway. Noah Brown might get bumped down with Gallup. Treylon Burks, he's going to be a cheap piece at 4,700. He didn't get it done in the last Las Vegas game, but he is getting a handful of targets. He might be worth the risk. I don't know. Chase Claypool seems too cheap, but I don't know what the weather's going to be like there. Then this is Reynolds, and he's got a Q tag. He actually limited participant in practice Thursday, so that's usually good news. And also TJ Hawkinson, who returned to the practice field. So keep TJ Hawkinson in mind from the tight ends video, because I mentioned TJ Hawkinson would definitely be in play if Amon St. Brown's out, and also Swift. So there you go. An extra little tight end nugget. And as we move down to the lower nitty gritties, I did mention Jahan Dotson, 4,300 as part of the he's still got for 4,300 a pretty decent floor. I like these cheap guys that are getting enough targets, which, Philly was terrible in this game. But enough targets to 3x, this cheap without a touchdown. That's what I'm looking for. Because then if they get you the touchdown, they have paid off their price. I'm still probably going to go back to Mac Hollins because I think if they're all over, even if Renfro's back, I think if they blanket cover Adams, Hollins can still be free to roam, and he's a pretty damn good receiver. I think he might be a star in the making. I don't know, but getting down here low, Mike Hollins. The last guy I wanted to mention before we end it, like I said in this Houston game, besides Cooks, there's two other guys that I mentioned in the quarterback videos yesterday to run with Davis Mills if you were to stack him. A bit risky. But Nico Collins is the first one who has a nice safe floor, who's getting decent targets, decent yardage, and all he needs is a touchdown. But the other guy that I kind of like better is down here at 3,500, and that's Chris Moore. And I don't know if I'm just looking at this going, oh, he caught a 52-yard pass. That's tight. But, he's getting snaps and enough snaps. And if they throw like I think they can in this game, all he needs is that one catch guy. It doesn't even need to be a touchdown. Just catch another 50-yard pass and let's roll. So I like him. Quez Watkins is in that same boat, but I don't know with the weather. I would have mentioned him. And there's probably a few guys further down here that might be. Andy Isabella's coming back, but that I don't really have. Now, this guy, Cleve Raymond, that he might be interesting if he gets some time. I don't know because he was the number 4 receiver, but if with Brown and Swift out, he might get. I don't know if he'll get enough volume, but 3,100. I don't know if you're really looking for a punt. But anyway, that's going to do it for the wide receiver show. Be on the lookout. Next week coming up, I've got plans to get the Squirrel Man from the Discord on. I tweeted it out last week. He won 4th place in the Spy, the $100 Spy, and won him $10K. And then he had a bunch of others of other hits that were 4 digits. So he won, I don't know, 12, 13K, I think, last week on DraftKings. Not the first time he's ever done it. I think he won close to 15K last year. I remember him posting something. So I am going to get him on the show, and we are going to talk roster construction, DraftKings strategy, maybe some contest selection. It's going to be sort of an evergreen type of interview, and we'll get some ideas. And then I may break off if he's got enough time, and then we'll talk about some week 4. And we're also planning a giveaway, a free roll for the members and anybody else that subscribes to the channel. It might just be a subscription-based video or free roll. If you've subscribed to Billy Ho Sports, you're going to get an invite to a $250 free roll. We haven't figured out the details yet, but it's going to be once I hit 250 subscribers. And I'm at 200 right now. So we got work to do because it's been slow rolling lately, but this might be some incentive to get you guys looking at my content because I feel like it's pretty good. I just feel like it needs a little bit more notoriety and a little bit more visibility, and maybe some people that are out there following me and winning money to get more people on board. So until the next video, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.